Australia has a seat on the UN Security Council after an emphatic win in New York this week. And the key to Australia's success, in part, was support from the African nations. Now, New Zealand is also campaigning for its own seat in 2015. So what does Australia's success mean for our bid? Terence O'Brien is a former New Zealand ambassador to the UN who represented this country on the Security Council. He joins us now. Good morning, Mr. O'Brien.
Good morning.
So Africa, in part, was crucial to Australia's success. What else was crucial to their bid?
Well, a whole raft of things, obviously. A Security Council campaign covers just about every facet of Australia's international activity. It was an emphatic victory, and I think they must be very pleased by it. So they should be, and so should we, because successful Australian foreign policy is important for New Zealand. There are one or two other factors that we can talk about in a minute about which might complicate our lives a little. But the general thing about Australia's victory is important. You may remember that in the mid-1990s they lost a bid to get on the Security Council due to some ineptitude on the part of their United Nations ambassador in New York. And the result was some damage to Australia's self-esteem. And we had a period there in the mid-1990s where the Australian Foreign Minister Alexander Downer went around disparaging the UN whenever he could. OK, so now that Australia is there, does that potentially mean the roads got a little more difficult for New Zealand's bid? There's only so many small states, I assume, that they can accept onto the Security Council. It's got a little more complicated, yes, because in effect New Zealand will be campaigning to replace Australia in 2015, which is the first year in which we're going for. They will come off the council at the end of 2014. And at first sight, that looks like rather ambitious trans-Tasman effort. We're trying to others it may look as though, you know, Australia has, as it were, represented the Tasman area of the world. Now it's a chance, the opportunity to give it to someone else. So it does complicate our lives a bit. It's interesting that before New Zealand lodged its bid, which was in 2004, quite a long time ago, we checked with Australia that they had no intention of, as it were, throwing their hat into the ring at around about the same time. They confirmed that they had no intention at that point, but subsequently Foreign Minister Rudd in 2008 announced that Australia would be going for this candidature. Right. So that complicated our lives a bit. OK.
How will our foreign policy and how it's changed under the national government, how will that affect our bid, do you think?
It's difficult to say. If you compare it with the last time, 1993-94, we campaigned on the grounds that we were a friend but not an ally of any of the permanent 5 members of the Security Council. We were not a member or had any links with NATO. We were an Asia-Pacific country with an independent foreign policy, amongst which was our non-nuclear policy. It's not clear that the government intends to use any of those particular arguments, even if it were able to, in the light of, for example, the Washington Declaration, where we're now, in fact, a de facto ally of the US.
Right.
So there will be changes, undoubtedly.
Very quickly, Mr. O'Brien, do you think John Key should take more of a role in this? Do we need our highest profile politician to be pushing our cause here?
At certain stages along the way, yes, but it's still 2 years away. A lot of water will flow under the bridge. There will be meetings where John Key should turn up and do a bit of lobbying, as the national government, his predecessor national government under Bolger, did in the 1990s. But at the moment, it's fine. He's positioned it about right.
OK, Terence O'Brien, former New Zealand ambassador to the UN. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.